Hello guys, welcome back. Welcome in another video of chapter 6, which is electromagnetic induction. And today we are going to discuss a topic which is Lentz's law and law of conservation of energy. How law of conservation of energy has been related to Lentz's law. We will see that in this lecture. Okay. But before that, I should remind you what we did in the last class. In last class, we saw three experiments that Faraday and Henry did. Faraday is a guy from England, I guess, or from Germany, I don't know. And Henry is a guy in USA. They did perform an experiment. On behalf of that, they explained to us that whenever there is a change in magnetic flux in a closed current carrying conductor, then EMF will induce or current will induce in that guy, and that EMF will be proportional to the rate of change of flux. So we have to think about the change of the flux, not only change of the flux but simply rate of change, at which rate it is changing. We don't have to worry about like whether flux is decreasing or flux is increasing, because we have to simply worry about how fast is that change is occurring, whether it is decreasing or increasing, because EMF that will induce in that guy is simply equal to the rate of change of flux minus d phi by dt, isn't it? Where phi is my BA, phi is simply, we have already spent one lecture in explaining what is phi A. What is phi A? Phi is simply dot product of magnetic field and area vector, which is my magnetic flux. Okay guys, so we already talked about this and we saw 2 to 3 experiment. In one experiment we are moving a bar magnet towards a circular coil and away from that circular coil, and we saw that there is a EMF induced in that coil. And in the second experiment, what we were doing, we were moving that coil by keeping that bar magnet still, okay, because our aim is simply change of the flux. It doesn't matter whether you are moving a bar magnet or you are moving a coil, there should be relative motion between these two quantities. It doesn't matter whether you will move coil or bar magnet. And the EMF induced will depend upon the rate will depend upon the relative motion. If relative motion between these two quantities is like high, both these quantities are having a very fast relative velocity, then obviously induction of EMF will be large. And if relative motion between these two guys is small, then or one guy is moving with respect to other guys with a very small velocity, then obviously EMF that will induce will be very small, because it will depend not only on the change of the flux but rate at which that flux is changing. Okay, so we have to take care of that. And we have a negative sign here, which is because of Lentz's law. What Lentz's law tells us that Lentz's law tells us that the EMF induced, the current induced is in such a direction such that it opposes the change that produces it. Okay, so if I am having this coil, a galvanometer is attached to it, and I'm moving this bar magnet towards this guy with a speed of v. Okay, so a EMF will induce in that circuit, that conductor. Direction of that EMF or that current induced current will be something like that, so that it opposes this moving of this bar magnet towards it, because that is the cause of induced current in it, and hence it will develop a polarity. It can only do that if we will having north pole here, okay, because north pole and north pole then repel each other, and we can simply see like this guy will repel that guy. Guys, just a second. Yeah, so that guy will repel that guy. So how north polarity will come here? I already told you guys that if a current induced is in anti-clockwise direction, then we will have a north polarity. If a current will induce in the clockwise direction, then we will have a south polarity. So if a current will induce in anti-clockwise direction, then obviously I will be having a north polarity here, and this north pole will repel this north pole, and hence it will opposes the cause that producing it. The cause was moving of this bar magnet towards left, and hence this guy will repel that guy. It is opposing these causes, and hence my induction of current, my induced current will be in the anti-clockwise direction, and vice versa will be the case if I will move that guy in that direction, north south, and I am having this coil, then obviously in this case there will be south polarity here, and my induction of current will be in clockwise direction, because in that case moving of this bar magnet towards right will be the cause of induction of current in that case. So if I will stop that cause, and how I will stop that? If I will attract this guy. So I am having a south polarity where this south pole will attract this north pole, and hence it is opposing the movement of this bar magnet towards right, and hence it is opposing the cause of this induced EMF. That's why we will having a south polarity here. Okay, this is what we have discussed. Okay, this is actually Lenge's law. That Lenge's law tells us that the induced EMF will oppose the change, oppose the rate of change of flux, or opposes the change that produces it. So that's why we are having a negative sign here. Okay, now let's see what is energy, how conservation of energy is applying here. How conservation of energy is valid here. See guys, conservation of energy is everywhere valid. I gave you this example many times. Suppose you guys are from a ground, you guys are at a height h, okay, and you are having a potential energy of how much? mgh. Okay, and you guys will take a jump from that side to this. Now here you guys are having a potential energy of 0. Okay, so where this energy has gone? This energy has gone in the kinetic energy, because here you are having a 0 kinetic energy, and when you will hit the ground, you will having a certain velocity. So you will be having a certain energy, half mv square. So I will say my initial energy must be equal to the final energy. So potential energy plus kinetic energy initial must be equal to the potential energy plus kinetic energy initial, or total energy initial must be equal to the total energy final. What is initial total energy? mgh, because this guy is 0, and what is total energy final is half mv square. Okay, that's how energy conservation principle is valid everywhere. You will take any case, energy conservation of energy will be valid everywhere. Suppose you are at the ground and you want to reach at a height h, then you have to do some work by going through that stairs. That work is stored in the form of potential energy. Okay, so the work done by you guys is stored in the form of potential energy. So work can also be stored in the terms of energy also. Okay, keep that in mind. So let's see how this conservation of energy principle is valid here. I have given an example that energy will be also always conserved, whether you will do some kind of work or not. If you will do some kind of work, that work will be stored in potential energy. In case if you are moving upstairs, okay, so every time you do some kind of work, that work has to appear in some form of the energy. Okay, when you are going upstairs, it is stored in the form of potential energy. Okay, but let's see in which form this work is, what work we are doing here, and in which form that work will be stored in our which type of energy in this case. Okay, so as I already mentioned to you guys that we are having this bar magnet, and we are moving that bar magnet towards right with a velocity v. Okay, so what is happening in that case? An induced current will take place in that coil in which direction? In a direction so that it can opposes this change, it can opposes this movement of the bar magnet. That only be possible if I am having a north polarity here, because this guy and this guy will repel each other then. Okay, so in that case I am having a north polarity and anti-clockwise direction of current. Okay guys, and do remember this. Now, if you want to move this guy, you have to do a work, because there is a repulsive force between this guy and this guy. So if I want to move that guy now in this direction, I have been doing some work. I have to do some work. Okay, that work is stored in the form of electrical energy. That work is stored in the form of induced EMF. Okay, so let's do this again. Let's do this in the different case. So in this case, I have to do some work now in order to move that guy towards right, because there is a repulsive force. Okay, now let's take this case. I am moving this coil, this bar magnet towards right, okay, with a velocity v. Now due to Lenge's law, we know it will produce a polarity, it will produce a current in that direction in such a way, or in clockwise direction, such that my polarity of induced current will be south pole here. Okay, so this south pole will repel this guy or attract. Obviously this guy will attract each other, isn't it? So if this guy, I should note it down, case 1 and case 2. Case 1, bar magnet is moving with the velocity towards left. In case 2, bar magnet is moving with the velocity towards right. Okay. So what is happening? We are having a north polarity here. Okay. Induced current will be such that we are having a north polarity here, and induced current in this case will be such like that we are having a south polarity here. Okay. So now what will happen in this case? In this case, because north will develop a current in anti-clockwise direction and south will develop a current in clockwise direction. So it should be anti-clockwise. It should be clockwise. Okay, guys. Now let's do this. What is point number 3? Point number, now in this case, as I will develop a north polarity here and I am moving this bar magnet towards this, and hence a repulsive force will occur. Okay, a repulsive force will occur because this north will repel this north. Okay, this guy will repel this guy, and hence, whereas in this case, what will happen? We are having a south polarity here, and I am moving that bar magnet towards right. See, so this guy will attract this guy. So an attractive force will occur. Okay. Okay, guys. So now what we have to do, if a repulsive force will occur, then we have to do some work. Okay, in order to keep moving that bar magnet towards left, we have to do some work that is against that repulsive force. Okay, so we have to do some work against that repulsive force. Whereas in this case, we have to do, if I want to move that bar magnet towards right, I have to do some work in opposition to that attractive force, because there is an attractive force between this guy and this guy. So in order to move that bar magnet towards right, I have to now do a work in opposition to attractive force, and in that case I have to do some work in opposition to repulsive force. Okay, it should be absolutely clear to write from the scratch. So now we have to do some work against repulsive forces in this case and against attractive forces in this case. So I'll be doing some work in this case. So fourth point is work done is against repulsive force, and in that case work done is against attractive force. Okay, so that work, the work I am doing here, is stored in the form of electrical energy, that is coming out as electrical energy in the circuit. That's why, because of this work done, we are getting current here. Okay, it is not simply that we have induced current, we have created current from nowhere. No, we have been doing some work against repulsive force, we have been doing some work against attractive force. That work is stored in the form of electrical energy. As I said it to you, as I gave you an example in which we talk about that, if you are at the ground and you are moving upstairs, say at a height h, then after achieving a height h, you guys will be having a potential energy of mgh. So how you achieve that? You simply achieve that by doing some work. By moving through the stairs, you have been doing some work. So that work is stored in the form of potential energy. But in this case, this work by moving this bar magnet against the repulsive force is stored in the form of work, electrical energy. And in this case, the work done in moving that bar magnet towards right against the attractive force will be stored in the form of electrical energy. That's how we are getting induced current in this case. Okay, suppose guys, if this law of conservation of energy is not valid, okay, suppose this is valid, okay, that's why we are doing all this kind of stuff. Suppose, let's take this law of conservation of energy is not valid, okay, then what will happen? You are moving this bar magnet towards they call with the velocity v. And suppose if law of conservation is not valid and you are having a south polarity here, then that guy will increase the velocity of this guy. Okay, when this guy will come close to that coil, it will again gain some velocity. So you guys keep increasing the energy, kinetic energy of that guy, but without expensing anything. This can't be true. In nature, if you want to do something, you have to expense something. As I gave you an example, when a guy will jump from a height h to a ground, it expenses its potential energy in order to achieve its kinetic energy, isn't it? Because at a height h, that guy is having a potential energy mgh, but at ground that guy is having a kinetic energy of half mv square. Okay, so mgh is converted into half mv square, and hence I can say that, yeah, in expense of potential energy, this guy is getting kinetic energy. So, but if suppose this energy conservation is not valid, then this guy will keep moving with the velocity v, isn't it? Because of attraction. Suppose short polarity will come here. Okay, and if it do so, then energy of this guy will keep on increasing without any expenses. But this can't be possible, because law of conservation energy has to work. If you want to do something, you have to expend something. Okay, work can only be done simply by storing some energy, or by expense of some energy. Okay, it should be clear to you now. So that's why law of conservation of energy is very important in case of Lentz's law. Okay, because that work done is ultimately stored in the form of this electrical energy. That work done is ultimately stored in the form of this electrical energy. So keep that in mind, guys. This is very important. Yeah, so I should note it down with more clearness, that this work done either against repulsive force or against attractive force will be stored in the form of electrical energy. Okay, this is very important, guys, because law of conservation of energy has to work. That's why we are getting induced current in expense of something. But we are spending some work done. We are doing some work. In expense of that work, we are getting electrical energy or induced current. Okay, it is not like induced current is coming out of nowhere. Okay, induced current is coming because we are spending some energy. That energy might be work done against the repulsive force. That energy can be work done against the attractive force. Okay, either way, you are doing some work, and that work is stored in the form of electrical energy. As I gave you an example, if you will start moving with the stairs from stage 2 at a height h, with the expense of this work done, you will achieve a potential energy of mgh. Here we are not having any potential energy. We are having work done as in the form of electrical energy. In those cases in which you will move through stairs at a height h, work done is appearing in the form of potential energy, but not in this case. In this case, work done is appearing in the form of electrical energy. Okay, but yeah, we don't have to worry about whether it is a potential energy or electrical energy or kinetic energy, whatever is it. So the basic point was there is a conservation of energy in Lentz's law, because work done is coming in some form of energy, while either it is electrical or potential, we don't have to worry about. Okay, so keep that in mind. So guys, this is what I want to discuss about with you in this class. Okay, in the next lectures I'll be talking about with some more interesting stuff, like what is motional EMF, how to define motional EMF, and there is a law like Fleming right hand rule will comes into the picture when I will define motional EMF. That's going to be interesting. You will definitely enjoy it. Okay, I will make it very interesting, and we will see some more stuff. There is nothing much in this electromagnetic induction chapter. We have already talked about Faraday's law, experiment that Faraday did, Lentz's law, obviously about magnetic flux. Okay, because that is very important, because we have been using this, because the basic starting point of this chapter is simply EMF induced by is equal to minus d phi by dt, isn't it? So phi is my magnetic flux. That's why we spend so much of time in understanding of magnetic flux. Okay, keep that in mind. Do remember, guys, what is the SI unit, what is the dimension analysis or magnetic flux, because it will definitely appear in your exam as a 2 marks question or 1 marks question. It will definitely appear in your exam. So this is all about Lentz's law and conservation of energy. In the next lecture, I'll be talking about motional EMF, and we will see how Fleming right-hand rule helps us in determining the direction of something, okay, or something is induced current. We will see how Fleming right-hand rule will help us in determining the direction of the induced current, okay. So this is it, guys. This is it for this class. I'll be meeting you next time by taking motional EMF lecture, okay. Thank you, guys. Thank you so much. Thanks for your time.